What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and we've got some updates for you from the State of the Union address from President Joe Biden last night. Also, what's going to be happening with Congress, people's responses to the address, and our economy. And this is your stimulus update. Now, last night he mentioned a major shift. He said that we're going to be moving back towards normalcy away from the pandemic. He also talked about Russia and Ukraine and what we heard from the polls. I'm going to be sharing with you. Let me know your thoughts on this. Is that the number one issue that they feel like the president has failed to address is domestically with inflation and our economy? Let me know your thoughts. And they said that they feel like people are still struggling right now financially, and he needs to do more to help. Let me know if you agree. And let me ask you this outright. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If the president were to issue out a fourth federal level stimulus check, maybe with existing funds or some sort of executive order, or get Congress on board to do something to send out direct payments to people, would that cause you to change your mind about him? Say if you've already lost faith in him. Let me know your thoughts. Would that help you want to maybe vote for him to continue his presidency in 2024? Or do you think that it's not enough? It's too little too late? Or also, we've got midterm elections coming up right now, and Democrats are concerned that if they don't do something, that they're going to lose control and power in Congress, and Republicans are going to gain control. Let me know your thoughts, you guys, but we heard that in the polls. I'm going to be sharing with you. That's one of the main concerns. I'm also going to be sharing with you the video footage of the highlights of his speech last night and also some recaps. And yes, he did mention that 4-point plan last night of the economic priorities. And funny thing is, they're a lot like Build Back Better, which he did not mention last night. We're hearing that he's going to be moving away from that name of that, but he is taking, as we heard before, chunks from Build Back Better, and that's pretty much going to be the 4-point plan. And we're hearing the name of this is likely going to be something around the lines of Made in America. So I'm going to get you caught up on the latest as to what's unfolding. What we're hearing is going to be the way forward, and let's go ahead and dive into the video footage. Now, in addition to that, I've also got some updates for you on state, county, and city checks. If you missed my previous video on it, be sure to check it out, as these are popping up left and right now. This is funds from the American Rescue Plan for these different localities, states, counties, and cities, and they're passing their own packages and in many cases their own checks. However, in some cases, you have to apply to receive these benefits. But don't worry, here on the channel, I'm going to make sure that you know, so that way if anything's available to you, you can make sure to receive it. So check out that video right after this one if you missed it. And like I said, as more pop up, I'll be sure to let you know here on the channel. But let's go ahead and dive right in, get you caught up on the latest. I'm going to be sharing with you the highlights, the recaps, and also the polls. And let's start off, though, by smashing that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps out my channel a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments. Share this out if you think it's going to help out other people. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, totally free. You can come join the Ram fam. I'll let you know everything going on. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. And if you got specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in, and let's start off with highlights from the President's State of the Union address last night.
My fellow Americans, last year, COVID-19 kept us apart. This year, we're finally together again. Tonight, 6 days ago, Russia's Vladimir Putin sought to shake the very foundations of the free world, thinking he could make it bend to his menacing ways. But he badly miscalculated. He thought he could roll into Ukraine and the world would roll over. Instead, he met with a wall of strength he never anticipated or imagined. He met the Ukrainian people. For more than 2 years, COVID has impacted every decision in our lives and the life of this nation. And I know you're tired, frustrated, and exhausted. That doesn't even count the close to 1 million people who sit at a dining room table or a kitchen table and look at an empty chair. Let's use this moment to reset. So stop looking at COVID as a partisan dividing line. See it for what it is. One way to fight inflation is to drive down wages and make Americans poorer. I think I have a better idea to fight inflation. Lower your costs, not your wages. Folks, Let's come together and protect our communities, restore trust, and hold law enforcement accountable. We should all agree the answer is not to defund the police. It's to fund the police. Fund them. Fund them. In state after state, new laws have been passed. Not only to suppress the vote, we've been there before, but to subvert the entire election. We can't let this happen. Tonight I call on the Senate to pass the Freedom to Vote Act, pass the John Lewis Act, Voting Rights Act. So on this night, on our 245th year as a nation, I've come to report on the state of the nation, the State of the Union. And my report is this: the State of the Union is strong because you, the American people, are strong. We are stronger today. We are stronger today than we were a year ago. And we'll be stronger a year from now than we are today. This is our moment to meet and overcome the challenges of our time. And we will, as one people, one America, the United States of America. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you. Go get him.
So there you have it, you guys. That was some of the key highlights from his speech last night. Now let's take a look at some of the recaps from MSNBC and what they had to say, and they're going to be talking specifically about domestic issues. Let's take a look.
Simone, let's talk domestic issues, from the Supreme Court to COVID to the economic recovery. President Biden has a lot of wins, especially if you consider where we came from a year ago. But we do have short memories. Did he sell them?
I think he did sell them. Look, he ticked off the greatest hits. He talked about the COVID. He talked about from 3 million to 500 million folks vaccinated. The president also talked about keeping schools open. Republicans, some of my Republican friends, maybe not Tim, but maybe Tim, tried to hit him on schools. That's one of the things that you heard in the Republican response from Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds. And he made the case and said, look, schools should be open. We have given schools the resources to stay open. He talked about the Supreme Court pick, Judge Brown Jackson, very important. That was something he promised on the campaign trail and he's delivered on as president. I am told by some of my former colleagues in the White House that the things that the president highlighted on the economic agenda, on how to combat inflation, lower costs, and things that, you know, could have been called Build Back Better, but they're not calling it Build Back Better now, are pieces that they feel are viable, that have a lot of support, and that can get passed.
So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts. And we heard her mention there at the end that some of the things in that 4-point plan pretty much could have been called Build Back Better, but they're ditching that name. And I'm going to be sharing with you now the polls that are saying that, yes, people think that he needs to address domestically economic issues, that those are the main things. And they feel like so far he has failed to truly address them to help out America at this time. Let's go ahead and take a look. And also we're hearing that this is not just the American people, that this is also the Democratic Party, which is the majority of people who watched the State of the Union address last night, that those that support President Biden are really losing faith in him, that his approval ratings have been slipping, and that he needs to do something to get them back on track. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Thanks, Wolf. We're getting the first results of our poll of Americans who watched President Biden's speech tonight. David Chalian is here with the numbers. David.
Jake, we first should note this is not a poll, obviously, of all Americans. That would not be possible here. This is a poll of people who watched the speech. And what's important to note about that is that people who watch a president give a State of the Union tend to be more supportive of that president or in that president's party. We see this with Democratic presidents and Republican presidents. And so our survey tonight of speech watchers is about 11 points more Democratic as a body of people here that were polled than the overall population in America. So just keep that in mind as we now show you what this instant reaction was of speech watchers tonight. 41% had a very positive reaction to the president's speech. 29% somewhat positive, 29% negative. That 41%, when you compare it to last year's speech that Joe Biden gave to a joint session of Congress, that's about 10 points lower on the very positive scale. 51% last year, you see 41% today. In fact, that 41% is the lowest very positive we've seen in about the last 15 years of instant polling after the State of the Union address. Take a look at this question here. We said, did Biden do enough to address some of the major issues here? On Russia's invasion of Ukraine, 69% said the president did enough to address that. But look at this. For the domestic issues that the White House is so keenly aware of in this midterm election year that are potential problems for Biden, they still seem to be problems. 47% said he did enough on inflation. 46% said he did enough on violent crime. Majorities for both inflation and violent crime said he did not do enough. And again, I just want to remind you, that is the majority of a speech-watching audience that is more Democratic than the American populace overall. Keep that in mind as you look at that. How about changing your level of confidence in the way Biden is handling the situation in Ukraine? After the speech tonight, these watchers said 30% of them are more confident in his ability and in his ability to handle the situation in Ukraine, but only 14% less confident. But the vast majority had no change of mind in their confidence level of how Joe Biden is handling the Ukraine situation. And then you want to take a look at which speech topic is more important to you, the economy or Ukraine. This explains why 12 minutes of a 62-minute speech was dedicated to Ukraine, and the other 50 minutes were dedicated to other things, because 64% of speech watchers say the economy is more important. 36% say Ukraine was the more important issue.
So generally speaking, these are lower marks than you would expect from such a disproportionately Democratic audience?
We've seen over the last year Joe Biden take a slide in the polls. There's no doubt about it. He's not just taking a slide with the overall public. He's also taking a slide, and I think this reflects that, the instant reaction to the speech, with people who are even supportive of him or who are in his party. And I think, that is what these numbers reflect, is that he obviously has been on the decline. There's nothing in this speech that suggests he turned that around entirely. I don't think that was the expectation. I don't think that's a realistic expectation for this speech. But clearly, that decline in popularity that we've seen, we're seeing it across the board.
And what's interesting about that, Dana, also is I think that it's, I'm not telling tales out of school, that his numbers when it comes to inflation and violent crime are much, much more important as to what happens in the midterm elections this November, and also what happens to his reelection, should he run for reelection in 2024. Most people are not going to be voting for a president on foreign policy.
Inflation and the broader issues of the economy, how people feel about their pocketbooks, and how people feel about their neighborhoods, worry about crime, that's the political ballgame. That is what every member of Congress, Democratic and Republican member of Congress, will tell you that they believe that voters are going to be caring the most about when they decide whether Republicans should take the majority in the House and in the Senate. And they know that on Capitol Hill. They very much know that at the White House, which is why as you said, David, as much as understandably, it's understandable that everybody is focused on Ukraine and that the president started there, but that the bulk of his speech was about that.
So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But that was the State of the Union address, the highlights, the recaps, and the polls from last night. And I'm expecting we're going to be hearing a whole lot more about the 4-point plan and getting the economy back on track, and also with the war in Ukraine and Russia. And I'll keep you up to date on everything as more news rolls out. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps out my channel a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, come join the Ram fam. I'll keep you up to date on everything going on. And if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, thank you again for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.